Hello, my name is Yoni Glatt. I am the director of the Jewish Teen Educational Experiences Network, better known as J-Teen, here at the Jewish Federation. And today I want to do a quick lesson on the upcoming holiday of Shavuot. Now, Shavuot is not as well known as some of the other bigger Jewish holidays, Rosh Hashanah, Passover. It's not even as well known as Sukkot. There isn't as many big actions we're doing. We're not having a Seder, we're not building sukkahs, we're not shaking lulavs and esrogos, we're blowing a shofar. Shavuot, you could say, is the humble Jewish holiday. And that's very fitting, because that's a really great lesson that we can learn on Shavuot, the importance of being humble. On Shavuot, many congregations read the book of Ruth, Megillat Ruth. And the story of Ruth really is one of humility, one of being humble. There is this reoccurring theme in rabbinic writing of princesses in the Bible who shun their royalty and become women of Judaism. Ruth is one of these women. She's a Moabite princess who marries a Jewish man who dies very young. She's a young widow, and she chooses a life of Judaism where she's poor and penniless and returns to Israel. We see something similar with Abraham's other wife, Hagar, who is an Egyptian princess who also chooses to be with Abraham and go in more of a Jewish route. And we see later on with Batya, the daughter of the Pharaoh, who was the adopted mother of Moses. She also leaves Egypt in rabbinic writings and joins the children of Israel in a life devoted to Judaism. And we see it, as I said again, with Ruth. And when Ruth comes back to Israel, she's penniless. She's a beggar, essentially. And she's fortunate enough to meet a good man named Boaz, and they get married. And as a result of their union, 3 generations later, we have her great-grandson born, King David. So from this convert, from this beggar, we have one of, if not the greatest kings of all time as part of her inheritance, you could say. And David himself, who is mentioned at the very end of the Megillah, David himself also has a life that's one of humility, one of humbleness. He is the youngest of 8 boys who's chosen to be king. He is not the oldest, as I just said. But this is a very common theme throughout the Torah, throughout the Bible. If there's more than one son, a younger son is almost always, without fail, going to be greater than the older brother. We see it with Abraham. We see it with Isaac. We see it with Jacob. All 3 have older brothers. We see it with Joseph. We see it with Moses. And we see it with David's own son, Solomon. They all have older brothers. But yet they are all greater than their older brothers. Who might also be great. Of course, Aaron was great, but you would say Moses is greater. And David certainly to his brothers. In fact, David's oldest brother, Eliab, thought he should be king. But he was a bit arrogant. He had a temper. He didn't have the humbleness to be king, which David had by being the youngest. In fact, when Samuel comes to anoint one of the sons of Jesse, David's not even around. They think, no, one of the other 7 must be, no, the youngest kid, he couldn't be it. But no, it is David. He is the youngest one, and he does become king. And he's very fortunate that he has a great-grandmother who is still alive when he is king to give him this guidance. And he goes on, as we know, to slay Goliath and become this great man. And it's because of the guidance of his great-grandmother Ruth, who knows about humility, who knows about being humble, that David himself is able to achieve greatness and to become the great King David that we all know. Chag Sameach.